Hey everyone, I wanted to give you an overview of the MyOpenMath if you're interested in using that in the spring for our pilot. And so when you go to the website right here, getting started, you can see there's a request an instructor account. And so they just ask you a couple questions about, where you're teaching, and then they will ask you for a scan of your badge so you can prove that you're an instructor. And typically to get access takes about a day or so. And then once you get going, you'll set up a username and a password. And when you log in, I'm going to log in, and let me go to my home right here. So here's my home, and I have a couple different classes here. And so um, Kaylee created, she worked on this shell right here, the 0106 0308, and she's going to teach that this spring in person. And so if you all are interested in doing it, this is going to kind of show you around a little bit. And for online instructors, you may want to wait until we have more resources for videos and stuff, but there are videos embedded in the course, but you might want to check them out for yourself to see if that would work for you to, um, if you're not going to have the My Math Lab access videos. So I'm going to go ahead and click in here. So it brings you here, and you can fill in your instructor contact information if you go here and go to modify. Um, so you can fill that out. Kaylee went ahead and put a OpenStax textbook here. It's a pretty good text, but it might not match up perfectly with the current book that we're using from Pearson. And so just kind of be aware of that. This is really more for a homework platform. The book is okay, but this is kind of more about giving the students free access to the platform. And so if I scroll down here, you can see she has this broken up into units, and she tried to match what we already had currently for my math lab the best she could. And so if you click here, here's unit P. And so unit P.1, P.2, and so on. And so like I said, she just tried to match it the best she could. And I'm going to go ahead and go in here and show you the questions. And so when I go in here, she's got quite a few questions here. And you notice they all have the video icon. So they do all have videos attached to it that the students can use. And so let's go ahead. If I click preview right here, you can see the question will pop up. So it says, determine whether 565 is greater than or less than 121, then write the expression using these symbols right here. And so if you click in here, you can type it, and if you click the key right here, you can see the answer. And then there's the video right there. And I'll just click on another one down here. Here's another one. So round this to the nearest hundredth. Once again, you can click here to see that. Um, Here some of them will tell you the average about amount of time it should take students to answer the question. And we have different types and stuff like that. And we have question IDs. Let's see, let's look down here. Here, this one um, has multiple parts to it right here. And so the student answers it and they'll submit it. And if they get part of them right, then it will show you. And if part of them are wrong, it'll have that also. And then the student can go back and fix it and try it again, try it a couple times. And then eventually they can try a new version if they've used up all their attempts. Very kind of similar to the My Math Lab type stuff. Um, let's see. Let's say that you want to find some of your own questions. Um, you would come down here, and this drop down window right here, you'll want to search all libraries, and then you can type in whatever you want. So you can just type in rounding numbers. I'm going to keep it pretty generic. Um, the more specific you get, the less results you'll get, but it might be more of what you're looking for. So you just kind of have to be careful. So I'm going to go ahead and press enter, and it's going to come up with quite a few. And you see some of them are kind of light gray. That means those have already been chosen. You already have those up here chosen as questions for your assignment. Now, this is what I like to do. Once I do a search, I go over here and it says times used. So that means how many other people are actually using these questions from around the country for their own classes. And I sort it, so I have to click it twice, and it will sort it from the most popular to the least popular. And that just gives me an idea that it probably is a pretty good question if a lot of people are using it. Every once in a while, you might come across a question that might have an issue with it. I think as long as you pick something popular, you're not really going to have that problem with those issues. So right here, you see this one is written in red right here. Um, right here it says rounding whole numbers and it's in red. That means that there's something wrong with it. So marked as broken. And so um, just something to think about. So whenever you do search, you do need to click all libraries. If you don't click all libraries, then nothing's going to come up here. And so once you're done doing that, you can just click, done. But also, if you want to delete some stuff, you can click it and then hit remove or whatever. If you want to add questions down here, once again, you just kind of click them. And then on the bottom left, you can see an add button, so you can add those. If you want to move stuff around, that's fine. You just click on it and you can tell it where you want to move it. So right now, I'm just going to keep it in the order it said. But if you wanted to move things around, also, you can combine them. You could say, these first couple questions are pretty identical, so I'm just going to go ahead and group them. So I can group them, and now it's a single question, and so the student will randomly get one of the two right there. And then if I want to ungroup it, you can just hit ungroup any one of them, and it will ungroup the whole thing. And there you go. Um, and then let's see. So I'm going to go ahead and hit done. Well, actually, let me go back so I can show you the student perspective. So if I go back to questions, you can hit preview, and then you can go ahead and do student preview, and you can see what it looks like on the student's perspective right here. And they can click through and, select whatever question they want, or just kind of arrow over and just do it from here. Blank is less than 8. So select all the numbers that are true. So let's select all these. Let's go ahead and hit submit. Oops, what? Oh, I missed one. There we go. There we go. And so, see, I got a second opportunity. And then there's a video. And then when I click here, you can see, okay, question 2 has a check mark, so I know that one's correct. And then if I want to get some extra practice, I can do get similar question. So I'm going to go ahead and exit out of here. Exit. Okay. And then let's see, what else do we want to look at? So here we have a grade book. And so right now, this is set up for, you have your unit exams, which looks like that's going to count for 48% of the grade, the way it's set up currently. Then we have different homework units. So it looks like we're 3, 3, 3, 3, and then 1%. So let me go ahead and go to settings so we can look at this. So when you go here, so the unit 1 homework, um, you can set it to whatever percent you want it to be. Same thing with all the other units, the regular exams, um, the unit review quizzes. So the way Kaylee has it set up is there's reviews for the exams, and so she has that as its own category. And then let's see, we have the final exam, and then our unit 1, or I'm sorry, unit P in this case. So you could adjust those to kind of fit whatever you like if you do it a little differently. So let's see, I'm going to go back to the grade book. So everything looks good here. Offline grades, so let's say you want to give your exam in person and not online, which just go here and go add. You can put in the name, put how many points you want it to be worth, and then put the dates and all that good stuff here. And then the category, where are you going to count it? So if it's the Unit 1 exam, you can put it here, or the Unit P exam, or whatever you want to do. Um, oh, I guess you'd probably, I'm sorry, I kind of misspoke there. You'd probably want to categorize it as the regular exams. You want to categorize it in the regular exam folder there. because if you put in the homework, then it's only going to count as a homework assignment. Um, so we do that, and then just let's see. I think that's about it. And then when you're doing this, your students will show up down below here, and you can enter the grades at the same time that you're creating this assignment. So let's see, anything else back in the grade book? I think that might be it for the grade book. So let's go back to our home. So we have our calendar here. Right now, Kaylee has the date set up for January because I told you she's going to be teaching this in January. So let's go look in January so you can kind of see how this works, how it looks. Um, it should be, the assignment should show up on the calendar when they are due. And, oh, they're not showing up. So that might be that they haven't actually been assigned yet. Let me take a look at that. Okay, so I see why it's not showing in the calendar. What it is because it hasn't been assigned yet. So it's not assigned till she has it set for December 8th. I'm going to go ahead and change that so we can see, so you can see it in the calendar. So when you go to settings, here's where you can put the name of the assignment and stuff like that. And so right now she has it to where it's not available till then. I'm going to go ahead and change that to now so that it will show up and so that we can see what it looks like. And so you can have your due date here and so on. Um, all right, so I'm going to go ahead and save changes. And let's see, let's go ahead and look into January now. And so now it's here. And I realized what the problem was. Another problem is that it was accidentally dated for 2023, not 2024. But now I have the right year on here, and so that's something that would have to get adjusted on this. And there's a way to quickly adjust those, and I will show that to you in just a second. But just wanted you to see that you can see it populated on the calendar, so that's when it's due. And so I like that feature. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at if you wanted to shift the dates. So let's go to dates. And so here are all the dates, and it can look a little confusing, but I promise once you do it a couple times, it's fairly simple. And so you can just change them individually if you really want to. You can see there's the one I changed to 2024, and so Kaylee might realize later on, oh, I meant for, I accidentally had the wrong year in there. And so what I can do is if I click both of these, and then over here on the action window, whichever one you select will do that action for all the ones that are selected. So right here, I'm going to go ahead and it says copy down, and then it gives you a couple different options. So you could do copy down date and time changes. So whatever is different, they'll match. Copy down times only. So if I only want to change the time and so on. Copy down date and time. Copy down start date and time. Copy down end date and time. So that's the one I'm going to copy. So I'm going to hit this, and um, what you'll notice is that the one below it now has the same date. So now they're both uh, due in the same year. So before this said 2023, and so now I have the same date on there. And then be careful because if you go away from here, it will not be saved. So you have to hit Save Changes. So I hit Save Changes, and then it's done. Now my calendar defaults back to what's today, so I'm back to November. But if I click forward back to um, January, you'll see actually both of the assignments now. You'll see both of the assignments are showing up there. Um, all right, so then going back to the dates, if you wanted to, you could select, a couple at a time, or just do them individually. You just can go here and select your calendar, but you notice that it's 2023, so the easiest thing would be just to manually change that 3 to a 4, and then just like I said, you always want to hit save after you make whatever changes you want to make. It takes a little playing around with, but it's not that hard. But like I said, like anything, you just kind of have to learn the platform, and we've been pretty happy with that. So let's see, let's go back here. Um, Other than that, I don't really mess with too many of these things. Um, I do want to go to course settings because I do want to show you something here I really like. And um, oh, I can't mess with this because it's Kaylee's actual shell. But let me go into another one. I want to show this to you. Okay, this is the same course. Oh wait, maybe I didn't do it. Yeah, here we go. Here's the same course. I just copied it over so I actually have more control. And so if I go right here and go to course settings, okay, here we go. So, oh yeah, this is important. This is the information I would give the students right here. So here's the course ID, here's the name of the course, and then the enrollment key. I kept that pretty simple, just 1, 2, 3, 4. But you would have to give the student the course ID and enrollment key. Students find it very easy to set up their account. When they set up their account, it's instant. They don't have to wait like us. When we create an account for us, we have to wait a day or so for them to verify that we're instructors. But for students, it's very simple. Once they have the course ID and enrollment key, they'll be in right away. But what I wanted to show you was these additional options right here. And so right here, you can give the students a certain number of late passes. So right now, it's basically set at 100, basically infinite for the students because there's less than 100 assignments. So, anyways, you can play around with this and have as many late passes or as few as you want. I typically, for my classes, I give students about 4 to start with. And then as the semester goes on, I might add a couple extra. So if you start out with 4, then you would come in here and change it to 6 or 8 or whatever you want as the semester goes on. Now, one thing that is kind of weird about this is that the it says the late pass extended the due date by, and so you notice right here, this is a lot of time, 7,200 hours. And so the reason why, I don't know, mine, I don't think I'll put that high. But the problem is if a student, let's say the assignment is a week late, if you only give them, let's say, 48 hours, well, that 48 hours is already up because the time extended starts from the moment it was due. And so if it was due last week and they're going to try to finish it the following week and the late pass only extends it 40, let's just say 48 hours, it's too late for them. Which maybe that's stuff that you don't mind. Maybe you want to say, these late passes can only be used if the assignment's only late by a day or two, right? Um, Typically on mine, I give the students about, I usually give them maybe a couple hundred hours, which basically equates to a week or two. I prefer for them to get it done before the next unit starts. But you could play around with that however you want, but that's kind of how that works. But it is kind of nice to have those late passes because then you tell the students up front, like, you have a certain number of late passes, so if you miss a due date, then you're just gonna have to use one of your late passes. And so it's worked out really well for me so far. um, I don't think there's really, I think that kind of covers it. um, Let me go back and look and just make sure. So once again, this is kind of my home area. And so when you create a new course, you'll just come here and copy from a colleague's course. That's what you guys will do if you want to create one of these and participate in the pilot. So you'll just click here, and then you'll put in the ID number that I sent in the email, and then put that ID number and look up the course, and then you'll have to put in the course code. And so it's just going to be Kaylee's shell basically. So you'll copy it over. Well, yeah, copy it over, and then you can go in and adjust it however you like. So I'm going to go back to the home. So these are the different classes here that I've been using the system for. And I'm not going to say it's perfect, but neither is, the alternative My Math Lab, but I've been really happy with it. And the students, I'll tell you right now, the students really are happy about it. They really like using this. And so, yeah, once you're here, I just kind of um, click on the shell and kind of go in here and make any adjustments you want. If you want to remove some questions or add some new questions. Um, oh, I'm glad yeah, right here. Kaylee had not created a review or an online exam yet. And so if you do want to use this and use it for online, she basically just kind of wrote a note, I think, to herself that, she would just make it up from questions from the homework and um, kind of go from there. One of the drawbacks, though, if you are teaching online, is as far as having it proctored using the Respondus. I believe there is a way to do that, but it's a little tricky. And so if you are interested in doing that, you'll have to let us know and we can maybe set up a time to kind of go over that because that's a little bit more complicated. It's something that you have to do with the D2L and embedding this in D2L. And it's kind of a trick in order to do it. And so if anybody expressed interest in that, we could make a video on that or sit down together and kind of go over that. But I think, this is at least enough information to kind of get you playing around with this and see if you're interested in piloting this in the spring. There's no pressure. It's a pilot for a reason. Um, but if it's something you're interested in, just let us know and we'll be happy to work with you and help you along the way.